if you clicked on this video at some point or another, you've realized that the spray pattern on this game is not easy to control. Regardless what gun you are using, the spray pattern is very different than in most shooter games. In this video, we are going to be going over just that. We're going to be going over the spray pattern for each of these rifles and how to control it better and just have more controlled recoil, more controlled spray patterns in general. So that being said, let us get started. We're going to go right here and we are going to start with our Bulldog. So I'm going to do everything in my power to teach you guys how to control your recoil and how to land most of your shots whenever you are in that situation where you do have to spray. So first, I just want to give some general guidelines for you guys to understand that is essential before you even think about spraying, alright? So spray pattern on this game is random. It's not 100% random, but it's not 100% stable like it is on CSGO. On CSGO, you know the spray pattern, you control it the same way every single time, and the bullets will land in the same spot every time. On this game, it's just the first couple of shots that are accurate, then after that it is not accurate. Another difference is on CSGO it is more vertical recoil than it is horizontal. On this game it's a lot of horizontal recoil. There's some vertical, but it's a lot less vertical recoil, right? So what we're going to do here is, like I said, we're starting with the Bulldog. We're just going to spray twice. On this side we're going to just let go of the spray, not control anything, and just let it happen. And then on this side we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to be crouched, okay? So here, let's hold it. So this is what happens. The first couple of shots are pretty accurate and it goes up, 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 and then it stays right there and it just goes left, right, left, right, left, right. Now here the only difference is we're going to let the first couple of shots land and then we're going to crouch to counter the vertical recoil. We're not going to do anything with the horizontal recoil, right? So first couple of shots are accurate, then we crouch to counter the rest. So you see that's a lot more accurate than just letting it go completely, which is like this. There's a huge difference just by crouching. Now there is a way to even control this part. Even though this part that's horizontal is random, it changes every time, as you guys can see here. One looks like this, one looks like this. It's pretty random when it comes to the end, but you can still control that. With the Bulldog specifically, when you scope in, it is only a 3-round burst, and those are the exact number of bullets that are accurate on the first shots, right? I don't have to control any recoil. It's 3-round burst and they're all pretty accurate. And it's a 2-shot headshot, so you only need 2 of those 3 to land on the head for the kill. The Stinger has the same thing where it's the 3-round burst, but I personally don't use the Stinger, and this is a rifle recoil guide, not an SMG guide. Those are like the staple essentials of the Bulldog, like the meat and potatoes when it comes to spraying. Now this will be the same thing with other guns, just a little bit of variations. For example, the Guardian, you could see here, just like the Bulldog, the first couple of shots are accurate, and then it gets random. The Guardian will be a 1-shot headshot if you hit it, so you don't need to spray. You just take your time with the Guardian, you aim for the head, and you shoot. But if you do end up missing your first shot, you could, do 2 or 3 without being too worried about having to adjust your crosshair. But then after that, you have to start pulling down and readjusting left and right. But with the Guardian specifically, it's a lot harder to do that while you're clicking too. So you could pull down just a little bit, but I would reset after, instead of having to do this whole left and right thing with a gun that you have to click on, and that is not automatic in the first place. Scoping in doesn't really affect you too much as it does on other rifles. On the other rifles, it'll impact the way it shoots. For the Bulldog, like I said, it's a 3-round burst. For the Phantom, you just shoot slower when you're scoped in. And the Vandal, same thing, you shoot slower and you move slower whenever you are scoped in with any of these rifles. The Guardian, however, it can't slow down your fire rate because it's 1 bullet at a time, so it's super useful to be, if you have that 1-shot headshot accuracy already, this Guardian is a very good gun to go for just to get those headshots. Now, I would not recommend going more than 2-3 shots at a time before you let it reset, because that's when it starts getting all random and it's really hard to control. So again, we're going to go over the Phantom. We're going to do 2 side-by-sides, just see how it looks. Crouch versus not crouch, so here's just regular. Super similar, it goes up, 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 left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So again, here I'm going to crouch to counter this vertical part and not worry about the horizontal. So we're going to let the first 3 shots land because they're super accurate, and then we crouch to counter. 1, 2, 3, and then we crouch. Way more accurate than this. So crouching on its own or pulling down, this is me pulling down to counter the recoil, right here. Let the first 3 shots land and then you pull down. it is super accurate compared to just letting it go like this. I don't want to say super accurate, but it's a lot more accurate than just letting it spray and go wild. Now when it comes to guns like this, it's good to know how to transfer your spray control to like different targets, especially like if you're on a bomb site or something and you can't stop spraying. But for the most part, you should not be spraying like this, especially if the spray pattern is random. What you should be doing is you should work on your bursting, right? So you just want to burst, get those 2-3 shots that are accurate, and then let it reset. Because if you hold your spray down, the chance of you getting the kill obviously is reduced, and all they have to do is, if they have like a Guardian or a Vandal or even a Phantom, they just have to look at you in the head and tap. And you have to control the spray, which is a lot harder on your part. So bursting in general is more favored in this game than it is on CSGO. And this is a bad habit I have from CSGO, where I'm just used to spraying and controlling my spray by pulling down, but then it starts going all over the place and I'm like, okay, this is not for me. So I've been using the Guardian a lot to counter that and just get used to being going for the head. And then after that, that's when I started getting more used to the Phantom and stuff. So you guys see the spray pattern for the Phantom right here, and now we are going to go over the Vandal next. And I'm going to teach you guys a trick that is super useful to counter all of this and just get the most controlled spray pattern that you can get after this, right? So here, let's do the Vandal one more time. We're just going to hold it, and then we're going to do the crouched version, right? So here's just the holding mouse. And then here's me crouching. You guys can see the first couple of shots are pretty in the same spot, and then it just goes up, and then left, right, left, right, left, right. Same thing, like I said, with all the guns. So here, we're going to do it, and we're just going to crouch after the first 2 or 3 shots to counter this vertical recoil, right? 1, 2, 3, and then we crouch. So it's a lot more in a tighter spot than it is here. This is just all over the place, and it's not useful. You guys know how to control the vertical recoil by either pulling down like this or by crouching like this. Now you guys are like, how do I control this horizontal recoil? Should I just not get to that point? And honestly, I would not get to that point, but you can get to that point. You could actually learn to control it with enough practice. So I counter by moving my crosshair to the opposite direction of the barrel's movement. So here, I'm going to spray one more time and just look at the way the barrel moves. It's going up and then it starts moving, and it tells you literally what direction to counter this spray in. So here, look, we're going to do the first 2 shots. Those are accurate. We already know that, and then we know to pull down after the first couple of shots, but we don't know if it's going to go left or right or which direction it's coming first after. So here, let me show you how it would work. I'm not the best at this because I don't like spraying, especially on a game where the spray pattern is random, but this is way more accurate than just letting it happen, right? So here, 1, 2, 3, and then we pull down, then it's going right, and then left, and then right. It literally tells you what direction to pull to counter this spray. So that is super useful. Look at that. That versus this. So let us do a quick recap of what we just learned so far before we add these bots and then see how it works against the bots, right? So what we learned is the first 2-3 shots are fairly accurate. They're all in the center, and then it starts going up for like 5-6 shots, and then it goes left to right. We also learned that the barrel moves in the direction that it wants you to counter. You could focus on your crosshair for the first couple of seconds because you know it is accurate, but after that, when you're pulling down and you are done with the pulling down, focus on the barrel and pull to the opposite direction that the barrel is moving to counter that recoil. Now, if you are experienced, you know not to spray if you don't have to. You're going to control your recoil if that situation arises, but for the most part, you are bursting, you're doing 2-3 shots before you readjust. Now this is the same thing with all of these guns, and it's pretty similar with the SMGs as well. I'm just going over rifles because that is the most commonly used. So now we're going to go here, we're going to hit practice, and we're going to practice our spray transfer from one to the next. So I don't like to do the whole horizontal thing because that's just not ideal in my opinion. I don't see why anybody would be going for that if you could just, you know, do this. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to work on the transfer. So we're going to kill the first guy. Normally we know the first shot's accurate, but then we're going to pull down and we're going to move over to the next guy because we know that the bullets go up after this. If we move across here, the bullet should technically hit him in the face, right? So we're going to do our first kill, and then we're going to move to a different target. I'm actually going to use the Phantom for this just because this is the gun I would generally go for if I'm trying to get a spray down. So we're going to kill this first bot, then we're going to adjust our spray pattern to kill this other one with spray control to the head, right? So we kill one, and then we go to the second. So you see what I'm doing? I shoot him, and then I pull down because I know that's when the recoil is going to start going crazy, and then I kill him, then I let it reset before it starts going all crazy horizontally, right? So here one. So this is a good way to practice it. You can go here, kill one, and then you transfer to the next person. It's It's a good way to practice your spray control. You could also do that with the Vandal, obviously. It's just a different spray control, so it's just not a good idea, in my opinion, to be doing one if you don't even use the Vandal or if you don't even use the Phantom or something, because you're going to get used to that recoil control, and then you're going to get in match and you're not going to be using that gun, and you're going to be controlling the recoil for the wrong gun, if that makes sense. So practice what you are going to use. Now, this is a good place to practice that, but you could also do it here. There's these planes and these targets. You can practice controlling your spray on these, and the good part about these is it takes roughly 3 to 4 shots to kill them, which is exactly what you need for the first accuracy, right? 1, 2, 3, and it starts going up. So you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and you start pulling down very slightly, and you could practice very small, very light tracking movements because these planes are moving. So you can do slight tracking while you work on your recoil control, which is very, very useful. I like to do these for just a little bit before I get into game, just to get used to spray control, but not to get used to spraying only, right? You want to get used to tapping people in the face, not bursting, because headshots are the most efficient way of getting kills on this game. That being said, if you guys enjoyed this guide on controlling your recoil for Valorant, make sure you drop a like, subscribe for more videos just like this, leave a comment on what gun you like using the best. Do you like using the Vandal, the Guardian? Let me know what you guys like using. And make sure you do drop a like, or else I will cry if I find out you didn't, and I'm going to be very, very upset. Subscribe for more videos just like this. Love you guys. Peace out.